white. Had to make sure it was all red there.
Oh my God. Annoying.
We are back at Panera Bread, and it is a perfect right now.
Right now, it's a great day.
It's perfect.
Yeah,
Not too
it's
hot.
almost 12:30.
Yes, not too hot. Sunny, cloudy where it needs to be.
Breezy.
Breezy, and it's in Atlanta. I so like saying I'm in Atlanta.
Do you?
I like being in Atlanta.
Really?
Yes.
Well, welcome. I'm glad you could visit us.
Well, thank you. Thank you. And you are again, sir?
The bold one, the cold one, John ColderIce's Lawson.
I'm Brent Leary. I love the pause. I think the pause really added something to my opening statement.
Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing how you do that every week.
It really is.
Wow.
It takes a lot of effort. Anyway, welcome to Watching Amazon, where we've been watching Amazon for what, 5 years?
Yeah, forever. From a technology perspective.
Forever and ever.
Ever and ever.
Back when there was no Alexa, we were watching Amazon.
That's right. That's right.
We just like to watch it more now.
No, you do. You take that seriously.
All right. Well, there's a lot to take seriously this week.
Yes.
Lots of stuff has happened. Do you want to get started?
I guess I could get started. Let me get this one story up, because the deal is, guys, I have been a little bit concerned. I was a little concerned and a little bit saddened, because I have a lot of woods around my house in the Stone Mountain area in Georgia here. And one day I wake up, I drive around the corner, and they have cleared a huge amount of the woods. And I was like, oh, all the birdies and the squirrels and the owls and the foxes. Ooh.
In the foxes.
Yeah, we do have foxes.
You can't
in the
leave
backyard.
out the foxes.
We do have foxes.
We all know why you're really upset about this.
Because of the foxes, bro.
That's not it.
But what? Why am I upset?
Because that's where you used to go to smoke.
Smoke trees in the trees?
Smoke trees.
Smoke? No, absolutely not. I'm grown. I can smoke in my house.
Right in his house.
But so anyway, but I mean, literally, it was just like jarring. After driving around, you go past this all the time, and it's woods, and then you come, and it's just like a big, open, clear field. They started moving all the trees out the following week. The next week, they bring in there's like 15. I'm gonna have to bring you guys a picture next week. There's like 15 tractors, earth movers, all this shit going on right around the corner from my house. Funny thing is, I opened the business journal, and it's in there. They're building the next Amazon fulfillment center right around the corner from my house.
So you saw all this stuff going on, and you had no idea it was an Amazon thing.
No idea. And the deal is that they even had a Project Rocket. That's what they called it. Project Rocket.
That was the code name?
The code name. So now we finally have the uncovering and unsealing that Project Rocket that they've been talking about is actually an Amazon fulfillment center going up right around the house. Up to $1,800 jobs are being created there. It's like, and the development is, let's see what it's saying here. The development is projected to have 1,806 parking spaces, 200 truck parking spaces, and get this, 65 loading docks. 65 loading docks.
That's a lot
I
of
mean, it's a mini airport in terms of size. It's just going to be enormous.
Yeah, now I know you're really upset and saddened because of the foxes.
Yes, and the birds and the owls.
But I'm guessing that your saddened will be a little lightened when you see your housing values and your property values starting to go up. As you see the businesses coming to town, that will be satellite businesses around the Amazon.
I don't really care, because I'm not selling my house. And anybody else, I'll just tell you, if you want to be rich, never sell the property that you're in, just rent it out.
Listen to this, Pearls of Wisdom.
Pearls of Wisdom, man. I got it from a book.
What book was that?
I can't remember, but it was about, basically it said on average that the average American moves like 10 times, and if they kept their house every time, then by the time they get to retirement age, they could sell the 5 to pay off the other 5 and have residual income coming in all the time for retirement.
And you don't remember the person who wrote the book?
I can't remember the name of
That's
the book. It was years ago.
Damn shame.
It is a damn
anyway,
shame.
You know.
But at any rate.
So that's interesting. So,
but here's the other. Yeah, I mean, yes, property values will go up.
Right.
Traffic is probably going to be.
That's really going to go up.
It's going to create some great jobs, though,
Yes.
in the neighborhood.
Yes.
But the foxes, though,
Oh.
where are they going?
Maybe they can get a job.
They go into our neighborhoods, and that's why we have all these people getting their children eaten by foxes.
All right, this took a weird turn.
Anyway, it'll be interesting, guys. I'll bring pictures as this goes up. I'm sure Brent and I will get some sort of access, you know.
Oh, you're definitely going to get
Yeah,
some
we're
access
gonna-
because you're going to be working there at some point. So, don't.
I need a job. I need
Don't
a
be
job. That's funny.
All right. So I got my first one here, and it's all about the Prez looking like he's going to intervene in the big $10 billion project around technology, cloud services. The choices have been whittled down to two, basically. And there was a lawsuit. A couple of companies were like, "Hey, you can't leave us out of this. There's some hanky panky going on." All right. So the lawsuit came back. Nothing apparently is going on. The finalists are Microsoft with Azure and Amazon with AWS. $10 billion project at stake.
It's a government project, too.
It's a government, so I think it's Department of Defense. They call it Jedi. Somebody is some kind of Star Wars fan or something. Jedi stands for something. I just don't know what it is. But all I know is it stands for $10 billion. That's the thing it really stands for. All right, so it's come down to Microsoft versus Amazon. And it's looking like they're on track to make the announcement next month. But that was before apparently a group of, now this is funny, a group of GOP senators, congresspeople, apparently wrote a letter. Well, actually, let me get this. Somebody, we don't know who it was, but the president said somebody wrote him a letter with a lot of concerns about the process. And he may have to intervene before a choice is made. Now, let's think about this. This is the same guy that basically has been dogging Amazon and Bezos for like the past year and a half or so. He basically says he's the reason why the post office is doing terribly, which we all know that is not the reason. He trolls them on several occasions. He even has his buddies from like what's that? The National Enquirer breaking all sorts of personal business. Now I can't say that the president wasn't.
You put that at the president's foot? Wow.
I can't put it at the president's foot because I have no proof. But David Packard is the president's boy. At least he was until some other stuff ran out. So, but the bottom line is, do you think, just from an appearance standpoint, do you think that Amazon is going to get a fair shake from the president if he's the deciding factor?
I mean, if he puts his finger on the scale now.
Oh, well, that's what it sounds like.
Right.
The potential. Now,
I'm sure Microsoft is going, yes.
No, Microsoft. Can you? I mean, if it were up to the president,
oh boy,
it wouldn't matter if Amazon had like half the price bid, you know, or if Amazon had like just way better technology.
He's not gonna give it to him.
It's what's going to go down.
Yeah.
But now, just I think it was yesterday, a group of GOP congressmen, I think it's congressmen and senators, apparently they said, hey, they sent him a letter to the president, said, hey, you know what? You intervening may not be the best idea.
No, that's not good.
Yeah, and so, well, we all know.
But if there's no law against it.
Yeah, we all know how the president takes advice from the people.
Right.
Right. So this is one that, I mean, I'm making a joke out of it, but it really is not a funny situation if if a president lets his personal grudge weigh the scale against the company that he has the grudge for. And when there's only two options, or at least it seems like there's only two options, and the president starts to come in, and the outcome is against the one he has the grudge for.
Right.
What does it look like? It just looks like he's coming in and strong arming somebody he calls an enemy.
Okay. I'm waiting for the new part. And what's your point? You know, this is 2019 America.
So this is what we are supposed to expect and supposed to
I
welcome.
pretty much.
That's
I don't
really
think
bad.
that's going. It's horrible.
It's terrible.
It's absolutely atrocious. And if he gets away with it, it'll just be just another thing.
And he will get if
That's
if
what
it
I'm
happens.
saying. He's the
I can't
president.
see how he would not get away with it.
I know, it's the president. I mean, you know, morally, I don't think it's right. I don't think it's good necessarily for an open system that we have of our economy, which is capitalism. I don't think that is capitalism.
And the thing is, like, the one of the arguments was, you know, there should be more competition in this process. Now, this process has been going on for a long time, and we all know who the big two cloud providers are.
I'm about to say, there's not a whole lot of competition.
No.
Matter of fact, I'll tell you guys, when you are out there and you're searching for a cloud service that you might choose, right? Mm-hmm. Most of them are either one of the two.
They're one of the
or
two.
Three. One of the three.
Well, it's usually one of the two, and then
or Google. I mean,
yeah, but they're there's a big drop
absolutely.
off between 2 and then 3.
But most of the cloud services out there are just rebranding cloud services that they're renting from one of the big
Right.
two.
These folks are the big powerhouses.
That's it.
There may be some niche players for very specific kind of things, but when you're talking government contract, you don't need a niche. You need to bring the
you want
power.
the pros.
You know?
You want the pros.
So if it just so happens that there's two, and the president basically hates the one, and he's starting to talk about, I may have to intervene. If I were Jeff, I'd be like, all right, let's just go home. If you're getting involved, what's the point? That's just me. That's just me.
And that's just coming up, right?
All right.
Here's
so
a story. No, go ahead. Is it my turn? Yeah.
I was actually
going to
ask.
ask.
I have
You're
one
gonna-
I have my second one is
You're
actually a
dovetail.
piggyback.
Okay. Well, you need to let us know in production prior to this. Okay. Go ahead.
Let us know, huh? I already do, but all right. So we just talked about Microsoft and Amazon and Azure and AWS. So this week, gosh, I had a brain fart there. Amazon is doing their earnings.
Oh, okay. Here comes
All
your
right.
earnings.
Okay. So just last week, Microsoft came out with their earnings.
Okay.
Blew it away.
Yeah.
33.7 billion in fourth quarter.
Okay.
Surface devices up 14%. LinkedIn up 25%. But here's the biggie. Azure up 64%. Azure is by far the biggest growth driver in Microsoft's business.
Yeah.
Now, we just talked all about how Azure and then AWS, well, AWS is number 1, Azure is number 2. Azure is growing leaps and bounds. You got to think that AWS is going to be growing around the same kind of number.
Really?
And if that's the case,
Really?
yes, really.
All right. Go ahead.
And if that's the case, then what we may see from Amazon, I think it's
Earnings.
also projected to be around 61 billion for the quarter in revenue.
You want to blow that away?
No, I'm not as much focused on the revenue, although I think it's going to be big. But the main driver of the profit for Microsoft was the Azure piece, and I think the main driver of the profit for Amazon is definitely going to be AWS. So,
Has been.
but it's getting more and more in terms of percentage of profit for the company, and I think this is going to be this one is going to be big just by looking at what's going on with Microsoft.
So do you think Microsoft could be taking some share, or do you think the pie is really that
I think the pie is still
growing?
expanding.
It is definitely expanding. I mean, but 65%?
It'll be, even if it's not to that level, let's say it's 40, 50%. That's 50% over the last year,
Right, yeah.
which is huge.
Yeah.
And let's face it, AWS, I think the last I saw it, is a $28 billion annual run rate.
Yeah.
And if it's growing revenue and profit like that,
Yeah.
that is the driving force behind Amazon and what they're able to do.
Yeah, I mean, but it has been. This is how it's expanded
it's
so
getting
much.
bigger.
And then, remember when we were talking, you know, we haven't heard about this, but remember we were talking about putting stuff in the cloud for expansion, and we thought that was kind of crazy. But I mean, even if this is how they're funding all of this growth.
Oh yeah, all the things that they're able to buy.
Yeah,
it's coming off of.
It's coming
AWS.
off of this growth.
Right.
So you're thinking pretty big numbers.
I'm thinking it's going to be a pretty big number.
Like double.
I don't know about double.
Well,
but,
give me a number.
Well, like I said, I'm thinking like if I'm looking at the Azure piece. Well, let's put it like this: Microsoft reports 33.7 billion in the last quarter.
Right.
And revenue, and that's revenue. Azure up 64% in revenue. So let's say because Amazon is not a pure technology play, their revenue numbers are going to, I think, 61 billion, but that's a lot of that is from the actual retail
Stuff.
So I'm going to say that their revenue is growing, probably not as fast as Microsoft's, because that's all pure tech. But I think the earnings are going to be a little higher than what people may think, based on what's going on, what I'm seeing from the Azure numbers.
So we could say, just kind of simplistically, that they're going to beat the street on the numbers just because of the growth of AWS.
I think AWS is going to be even more, will add more than people expected.
Okay, that'll be interesting to see.
Just based off of what I'm seeing with just this one piece of information.
All right, one piece of information, and he's made his prediction.
That's right.
Now remember, this is a Rams fan. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
And you are?
A Falcons fan.
Okay. All right, just want to make sure we got that out there. All right, now what's your last one?
So my last one, it's pretty interesting, and it's like we all know about the Go Store. Go Stores are Amazon's.
I've been to one.
You've been to one?
That's right.
You know, you walk in, you shop, you walk out. But this story in Bloomberg is talking about in the fall of 2015, when Amazon executives that were in charge of this big top secret project, they took Bezos into the store and had him walk through the store. And inside the store, they had the butcher, right? You know, where you get your meats. And in that Go Store setup, they had a bakery and a...
So there was a butcher,
there was a
baker. Was there a candlestick maker anywhere around?
And the deal was, though, you know, he was impressed with all of the... He said, hey, guys, this is a great idea. You know, I'd love to move forward. He said, but there's one problem. And the problem was the butcher. So he removed that part out of the grocery store. So it was supposed to be a grocery store, and that's how it ended up being more like a 7-Eleven, because he said that part is still a frustration point, and it kind of removed, if we removed that, it would still make it that go.
So he just don't like the butcher, huh?
Right, it's not that, but he told the executives that it was just, you know, that experience there at that counter felt disjointed from the experience of the rest of the store.
You know what? He's right.
He is right. And I was like, that is...
When you think of, you know, like a convenience store, you think of speed. And if you had a butcher and people asking for this cut of your...
Right, you got to stand in line.
You got to stand in line. You start taking a number and all. That completely does go against what you think about with, like, my Amazon Go Store experience. It was so cool because I didn't have to, you know, spend time at a counter.
You didn't have to talk to anybody.
I didn't have to talk to anybody, but they did have people there to answer questions if you needed them.
Right.
But it wasn't at a counter or at a desktop or standing in line.
I just think that is very intuitive of him to come through. And you figure all of these people have worked on this store, and they're at the point now, it's like, let's bring Jeff in.
Yeah.
And never to any of them.
Got it.
Yeah, never occurred to any of them how disjointed that little part of the shopping experience would have been to the Go experience, and they removed that.
Well, that's why he is worth $130 billion.
Absolutely.
And why we are worth $130.
That's you, bro. I'm worth at least $240. So here's the killer thing. 4 years later, there are 14 Amazon Go stores: Chicago, New York, San Francisco, and Seattle. They're about a quarter of the size of that original mock-up. And they pretty much specialize in small selections of sandwiches, meal kits, and things like
Hey,
that.
I was thoroughly impressed with the selection they had, and the price. The prices are really good too.
But here's the weird thing: most of those stores are not doing well in the areas that they are in.
Well, I think part of it is because there's been some backlash to a lot of those stores because people are like,
there's no employees.
yeah, people think there's a loss of jobs. You go into the store and there are employees there. There are people putting, stacking shelves, and
somebody has to fix the computer. Somebody has to fix the door opener.
It's just
But you know what? You know what? I'm still mad because there's not enough horseshoe people making horseshoes right now. The automobile really put a lot of people out of work.
Yeah, I wasn't going to go quite to that level.
But it's the same thing.
And it's also, look, so there's one less person at a cashier station.
Yeah, there's one less $8 an hour job.
Yeah, or, and there's a lot less people standing in a line, which I think is the important thing.
Well,
because I don't like standing in lines. Do you like standing in lines?
No.
No.
And that's why everybody, but it's interesting that these stores are not doing as well.
I think it's a new setup. They haven't really done a great job of promoting those stores when you think about it.
That's probably the big part.
Right, and they do need sort of the narrative of this has been told by folks who have axes to grind, people who think that this is another way that they're cutting out jobs. And the emphasis is not on cutting out jobs. It's about
it's on convenience, bro.
It's about creating a better, more efficient experience.
Yeah, it's straight up convenience.
Yeah.
But normally, people will ignore the pressures of, they're taking jobs away and go straight for convenience.
Well, that's because there's, like you said, there's still only 14 of them out there. Most people haven't even been in one of these things.
Or know that they exist.
Or
really.
know that they exist. And maybe, Amazon is waiting to get all the kinks out that they can before they really start pushing this. But I thought it was a great experience. I walked out, got my little notification about what I bought. Everything was right. And I literally spent no time in any line whatsoever.
Groceries is a $12 billion market, and Amazon wants to break in and really do something there.
Yeah, well,
they really do.
You don't buy Whole Foods for $13.7 billion if you didn't want to get into that business.
Yeah. How is that?
Well, hey, it seems like they are finally integrating it into the mothership.
Yeah.
Because this Prime Day, Whole Foods was apparently a big part of it. So, but I really hope the ghost stores, there's a spot in there. It doesn't mean that all stores have to be like that, but there's a space for those kind of convenience stores, and it would be a shame that some kind of a bad narrative or people who are looking at it from only one perspective drive the narrative. But I think from a consumer perspective, it's so nice.
I got one more story.
Right.
Not a story because it's not on here. But you remember Amazon Go lockers?
Yeah.
Right? So for some reason, I just happened to look that up. And there's a Go locker right around the corner, again, from my house at a QT. It's on the back side of the QT. And I've drove by that QT multiple times, but they're the same color as the wall. Right? So you wouldn't know that they're really lockers there.
Wow.
So the other day I drive and I sit around right next to the locker area, and I was amazed at how many people came and got stuff out of it. Yeah,
Really?
exactly. It was like, wow, there's people are using these. So it was just, I don't know if you guys know about lockers, but you can look up, Amazon locker in your area, Amazon locker near you. See if there's one, and that's a place where you can get stuff dropped off instead of having it at your house on the porch, waiting for the porch pirates to pick it up. You can actually use it and they're in convenient locations. Like that was at our gas station, QT, right around the corner.
I wonder at this new facility if they'll put up some of those kind of lockers for the locals.
Possibly. That might be interesting.
That would be.
I can't wait. Somebody that is on that project here in Atlanta area, give us a holla and let us know. We're really interested in maybe touring, finding out what's going on, or interviewing somebody.
So I say, if there's anybody in the area that's responsible for all that kind of stuff, watch us.
Yeah.
Because we're watching you. We are watching you.
Okay. Anyway, we're out of here, guys. Make sure you like, share, and just, be loving and send money. Thank you.
Send spare change. We're still looking for that.
All right, we're out of here for now, guys. Peace.